Wilson was one of the most successful charting performers with Inland Empire roots. The San Bernardino singer is best known for his mega-hit Show and Tell. It reached the #1 position on the Billboard Hot 100 Singles chart in January 1974. Wilson is believed to be the only Inland Empire solo singer to have a nationwide #1 hit. But Wilson's story began with his 1939 birth in Meridian, Mississippi. Like many singers, he began by singing in his church choir. In 1958, the Wilson family moved to San Bernardino. After graduating from San Bernardino High School, he joined the U.S. Navy for a 2-year stint. After leaving the service, Wilson decided to resume his music career. He had his first chart success as a member of the Inland Empire group, the Rollers. Their song, The Continental Walk, reached the #80 position on the Billboard Hot 100 in April 1961. By 1966, Wilson decided to go solo. He received his big break when record executive Mark Gordon heard him perform. Gordon was the manager of the Fifth Dimension, bringing them to the attention of singer Johnny Rivers, who signed the group to his Soul City label. Gordon did the same for Wilson, introducing him to Rivers, who made him a part of his label's roster. Wilson quickly found himself in the presence of many of the music superstars of the day. Wilson's first Soul City 45 to chart was Do What You Gotta Do. Its highest placing on the Billboard Hot 100 was bubbling under at the 102 position. The song was written by a fellow Inland Empire musician, Jimmy Webb. Wilson visited the San Bernardino studios of KFXM Radio to publicize the single. He is seen here with DJ Charlie Walters. Wilson's next Soul City single to chart was The Snake, which reached #27 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in the summer of 1968. It was Wilson's most successful song to date. The tune was written by singer-songwriter and civil rights activist Oscar Brown Jr. The song was inspired by one of Aesop's fables. The Snake told the story of a young woman who, upon finding a half-frozen snake, took it home to nurse it back to health. Expecting the snake to be grateful, it instead gave her a fatal bite. When she asked why, the snake hissed, "Shut up, silly woman. Now you know darn well I was a snake before you brought me in." Once again, Wilson made the rounds of San Bernardino radio stations to publicize the single. He is seen here visiting the studios of KMEN with DJs Dave McCormick and Mark Ford. In the mid-70s, the song had a revival in the UK by those that championed the Northern Soul movement. Wilson's third Soul City single to chart was Poor Side of Town. The song had been a #1 hit for Johnny Rivers in 1966. In January 1969, Wilson's version reached the #78 position on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. In early 1969, Al Wilson's Soul City album, Searching for the Dolphins, was released. It collected his singles and other studio recordings. Wilson's next single was I Stand Accused. It just missed the top 100 of Billboard, charting at #106 in April of 1969. That same month, he made a personal appearance at the Sears store in the Inland Center, San Bernardino. He signed autographs and drummed up interest in his album. Wilson's last Soul City single to chart was a remake of the Creedence Clearwater Revival song Lodi. It reached the #67 position of the Billboard Hot 100 chart in September 1969. In 1970, Johnny Rivers sold the Soul City label to Bell Records. Somehow in the shuffle, Al Wilson was dropped from the record's roster. After his exit from Soul City Records, Wilson continued to make live appearances. In particular, he began a relationship with George's Plantation in San Bernardino and made a series of performances in its Mint Julep room. Once again, manager Mark Gordon entered the picture and signed Wilson to his new Rocky Road Records label in 1973. Gordon teamed Wilson with producer-composer Jerry Fuller. In 1972, Fuller wrote and produced a song for Johnny Mathis. That song was Show and Tell. It was not a great success, charting only on the adult contemporary Billboard chart. Fuller had Wilson record the song. It was a match made in heaven, as both Fuller and Wilson put a new spin on the song, and it shot to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Having the number 1 single in the nation earned Al Wilson a spot at Disneyland's February 9, 1974 Valentine Party. The next night, he played 2 shows at George's Plantation Mint Julep Room in San Bernardino. To promote his hit single, Wilson also made appearances on such television shows as The Midnight Special, Soul Train, and others. Wilson's follow-up single to Show and Tell was Touch and Go. In April 1974, it peaked at number 57. July 1974 found him as the subject of a feature article in the living section of his hometown newspaper, the San Bernardino Sun. His next tune to make the Billboard Hot 100 was La La Peace Song. It was his 3rd single to make the top 40 as it reached number 30 nationally in November of 1974. Wilson's 4th and last single to chart on the Rocky Road Records label was I Won't Last a Day Without You, Let Me Be the One. It reached the number 70 position on the national charts. Unfortunately, Rocky Road Records went out of business in 1975, and Wilson again found himself without a label. In 1976, Wilson signed with Playboy Records. His recording of I've Got a Feeling We'll Be Seeing Each Other Again became his 3rd highest ranked release when it reached number 29 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. However, this was to be his last release to hit the charts. In 1977, he once again appeared at George's Plantation along with the Inland Empire group Race. Wilson next signed a deal with Roadshow Records and released the album Count the Days in 1979. Sadly, none of the singles released from it made any impact on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. From that point forward, Wilson concentrated on his live performance career. He began touring on the so-called oldies circuit. He included many appearances in the Inland Empire. In 1982, he appeared at radio station KMEN's 20th anniversary concert at the Paris Hill Bowl in San Bernardino. In 1987, he played an oldies show held at the Chris Davis Supper Club in Rialto. In both instances, he shared the bill with former big names of the past. In 2008, Wilson was scheduled to appear May 3rd at San Bernardino Valley College as part of a benefit concert. Sadly, Al Wilson died of kidney failure on the 21st of April 2008 at the age of 68. In August 2009, Al Wilson was posthumously inducted into the Inland Empire Musicians Hall of Fame. He was recognized for his work and lasting contribution to the IE music scene. Inland Empire Musicians Hall of Fame founder Greg Eckler said, Al Wilson was an outstanding vocalist and a great musician. He was really musically gifted and very talented, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to work with him. Accepting the award on behalf of his late father was his son Tony Wilson. He said, My father stood for a lot of things, and one of them was integrity and building positive personal and professional relationships. It's obvious that he's earned that, and I'm honored and thrilled to be here to accept this award. Thank you.